What's up, our kings and queens? Here's another araSpells video about House of the Dragon and the Song of Ice and Fire universe. We'll talk about 8 theories about the next House of the Dragon events and arrange them on a scale from "this actually can happen" to the "oh my god, this is impossible, what have you been smoking?" We know nothing can kill the pain from watching the last season of Game of Thrones and wash it away. But some theories we'll discuss in this video can ease the agony for sure. And beware, huge House of the Dragon spoilers ahead. So buckle up, guys, this is gonna get really crazy.
Hold on to your butts, brochachos.
Theory number 1. Ned and Lyanna knew about Aegon's dream. At the end of the first House of the Dragon episode, King Viserys tells Rhaenyra about this secret and says,
"Now you must promise to carry it and protect it. Promise me that, Rhaenyra."
His words reminded me of this scene over here, where Lyanna Stark tells the truth about Jon and also says,
"Promise me, Ned. Promise me."
House of the Dragon creators Ryan Condal and George Martin said in an interview that at some point between Rhaenyra and the Mad King, the prophecy was lost and Rhaegar Targaryen rediscovered it. And here comes this theory. What if Lyanna also knew about Aegon's dream and she told Ned Stark about it? Rhaegar loved Lyanna, quite possible that he told her about Aegon's dream, and Lyanna knew how important it is to keep Jon alive. Of course, as a mother, she already wanted to keep him safe, but the knowledge that he can save Westeros made his survival even more important to her. Fun fact. When Rhaegar had his first son from Elia Martell, he told that Aegon was the prince that was promised. But he also said that the dragon needed 3 heads. As we know from the books, Elia Martell couldn't have children anymore. Maybe that's why Rhaegar chose Lyanna. Of course, we never know what's going on in Targaryen's blonde head, right? Number 2. Melisandre is going to be there. Yeah, you heard it right. This lady is definitely gonna be in House of the Dragon. As you may remember, she's really old. In the Game of Thrones, she's 400 years old. Well, I'm not a fan of math, but I think that means when Rhaenyra was made the heir to the Iron Throne, Melisandre was around 200 years old. From the books and TV shows, we know very little about her past. She is from Asshai, that's in Essos, and she was a slave. That doesn't necessarily mean that we'll see Melisandre in Westeros. She's probably still chilling in Essos. But if she is in Westeros, there are some theories that we'll see her as another person with another name. For example, in the book Fire and Blood, there is a very important character, Alice Rivers. She was a bastard servant of House Strong and a bedmaid of Prince Aemon Targaryen. She allegedly saw visions in fires, and she was at least 40 years old of the age during the Dance of the Dragons, although she appeared younger. There's another theory about who Melisandre can be. Yeah, that's right, we've already seen her, Daemon's lover. Missandei is a very interesting character, and as far as we know from the books, she's gonna play a huge part in House of the Dragon. But she doesn't have abilities to see visions in fire, and she's very far from being a godly woman, and she can't have children. My logic tells me that you need to be fertile, even if you're having a Shadow Renly type killer baby from a Fire Lord or Stannis. On the other hand, you could say, hey, wait a minute, that's it. Missandei cannot have a humankind baby, but maybe she can have this, whatever you call it, and use it for her purposes. Can't argue with that. In a crazy and twisted world like Westeros, everything is possible. Number 3. Bran the Broken will be in House of the Dragon. Remember this, pal? Bran Stark was able to influence the past. He created this whole Hodor paradox because he was kind of supposed to do that. I don't know, I was confused here, but that's not the point. Bran spent a lot of time observing the past, or you might say lurking around. Others might say he's just like this impartial, super clever artificial intelligence from sci-fi movies and is just there to serve the needs of men and women. Anyway, maybe King Bran the Broken travels hundreds of years back and he messes with the past again and creates another mind-blowing hold-the-door type of madness. For example, he could travel to the times of Aegon the Conqueror and tell him the myth of the Savior, that one day White Walkers will come and the Targaryens should be there to unite all and save the world. If we see Bran in the Dance of the Dragons events, he's definitely gonna do some crazy shit like warging into a dragon and accidentally burn them all. Otherwise, what would be the point of showing him, right? They're not gonna just show him there. Oh, I forgot. That is what they actually did with the character in the last season of Game of Thrones. Oops. But we have another theory about Bran, which is even crazier, and you, my kings and queens, will definitely like it. More about that at the end of this video. Number 4. Otto Hightower and Meisters have a conspiracy against Targaryens and their dragons. Yes, you heard it right. You can ask, wait, why Otto Hightower would even work with Meisters together? Especially in the times of Jaehaerys I and Viserys, when the realm was thriving and prospering. Well, first of all, Meisters are an order of scholars who learned everything at the Citadel, which is located in Old Town. Old Town was constructed around the Hightower, the seat of House Hightower, in the center of the city. House Hightower helped to found the Citadel and continues to patronize the order. Remember in the first episode, Otto Hightower sends a raven to Old Town? What if it's not just a casual raven to his brother, but something more? See where this is going? Second of all, Meisters are like scientists. They sometimes called the Knights of the Mind. They basically hate magic.
I do.
And what's more magic than dragons? It's too powerful and uncontrollable. Let's say the dragons are like atomic bombs of that time, and the remote control belongs to Targaryens. What will happen if one day one of the kings goes mad, let's name him the Mad King, and decides to harm people, let's say burn them all? Wait, it sounds very familiar. Do you remember something like that? While you're refreshing your memories, let me continue this conspiracy theory about Meisters and Otto Hightower. So these pals are working really hard and engineering the Civil War Dance of the Dragons and making it happen. Yeah, of course during the Civil War the dragons will mostly kill each other, but even war cannot kill all the dragons. And after the war, they will slowly degenerate and their eggs will stop hatching. The Meisters will sabotage dragon eggs, poison it. Meisters are really good when it comes to different chemicals, and they love to poison stuff.
I do.
Let's say the Iron Throne, for example. Why not poison that too, so that the cuts that Viserys is having do not heal? What if Meisters did some changes to grayscale, so that it's not contagious and spreads throughout the body very slowly over many years? In the Game of Thrones, Meisters do not possess such knowledge, of course, but we all know how powerful wisdom can be forgotten or lost. Meisters can also spread the rumor that the Iron Throne is not suited for weak kings. What can I say? Sneaky bastards they are. Number 5. Daemon Targaryen will become a White Walker. Before you go and dislike this video and write dreadful comments, hear me out, okay? Why I'm even having such thoughts? I have actual arguments here. At the end of the Dance of the Dragon, Daemon has an epic battle with Prince Aemond. They both die. And here's the interesting part. The bodies of Aemond and his dragon Vhagar were discovered in the lake years later. Daemon's body was never found, but historians are convinced he died there as well. That's according to the book Fire and Blood. Sorry for the spoilers, I warned you. So where is Daemon Targaryen? Or should we ask, which one is Daemon Targaryen? This guy? Or this guy? Or maybe this one? Oh, I think I found him. I swear to 7 gods, dragons, Targaryens, he looks exactly like Daemon. Well, he's an old, very old version and kind of a dead version. Plus the clothes. Have you noticed how similar they are? Most likely, these are the same clothes in which Daemon died. I bet he never got the chance to change it. Number 6. A lot of White Walkers are Targaryens. We know that the Night King is very selective when it comes to his generals. Do you remember when Craster says, "I am a godly man, and the gods keep me safe"? And when Rhaenyra says,
"As Targaryens, we are closer to gods than to men."
One was referring to the White Walkers, and the second, well, to Targaryens. Yeah, I know, it's a weak argument, but still. Gods, White Walkers, Targaryens, gods, White Walkers, Targaryens, gods, White Walkers, Targaryens. Oh no! Do you see what I see? Number 7. There's more than one Night King, and we're gonna see them in House of the Dragon. This theory actually appeared on Reddit a long time ago, so it's not something new, but we'll elaborate a bit more. We always thought that the Children of the Forest created this funny guy, and he did the rest. But watch this.
It was you. You made the White Walkers.
He doesn't say you created the Night King. He said White Walkers, plural. Of course, maybe it was implied that the children created the Night King, who then created the White Walkers to destroy all living creatures in this world. But what if the Children of the Forest created multiple Night Kings at the same time, and each of them could create his own army of White Walkers and Whites? Think about it. If the Children of the Forest wanted to create a tool to destroy the first people, why would they make only one of them? Here's another hint. In season 7, yeah, we all hate this season, but still, hear me out, okay? There's a scene when Jon Snow is showing Daenerys the ancient drawings in the cave. There is one drawing in particular that depicts the White Walker leader with a crown and a beard. Who's this guy? Are they the same? Can they be the same? Well, only if they have barber shops in the land of always winter. So if we accept that there was another Night King or kings, we can actually see them in House of the Dragon. This would be a huge twist and a hopeful sign that HBO finally plans to retcon the last Game of Thrones season, and especially this ridiculous long night episode, which was pretty much shorter than even a regular night. So, fingers crossed. But wait, how exactly they gonna retcon the whole season in a very persuasive way? Maybe you've heard that HBO has other Game of Thrones spin-offs and sequels in development. One of them is a sequel about Jon Snow. We don't know the details yet, but what if the story in this show will be evolving around Jon Snow discovering another Night King and his White Walkers? What if the long night continues and we'll finally have an ending that will make sense? I wouldn't mind. What about you? There's another way of retconning Game of Thrones. This retcon version will change the plot of the last 2 seasons. It's even more crazy and sounds like a Marvel movie, to be honest. But as one wise man once said, desperate times need desperate measures. So here it comes. Number 8. Bran changes the whole storyline of Game of Thrones season 7 and 8. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome this guy again. Bran the Broken. The guy whose mind can travel through centuries back and forth, who can influence people and other living's minds, and create paradoxes and infinite loops. Yeah, Bran is like another Avenger. You remember him making Hodor the Hodor, whose whole life mission was to hold the door. Hodor. We have been seeing Bran traveling through time and watching other people. Most of them couldn't see him. So why can some people be influenced like Hodor and others not? In Game of Thrones, we saw that he cannot control his powers. So what if in one of his multiple travels through time, he accidentally influences the one who has this Valyrian steel dagger, like this guy here? Do you remember that in the second episode of Game of Thrones, Bran was attacked by a cutthroat with the dagger, which had quite a long story behind it? No one knows how it appears in these times, but one is known. In season 7, Bran has it and gives it to Arya, who kills the Night King. So again, according to this theory, during his travel, Bran accidentally influences the dagger holder and it never ever appears in Game of Thrones times. Of course, it's necessary that the cutthroat has Tyrion Lannister's dagger and still attacks Bran, so the story will continue as it was in the original Game of Thrones before Bran gives it to Arya. But instead of this dagger, it could be any knife or any other dagger. But if this dagger doesn't exist, Bran would not have it, as well as Arya. She could not kill the Night King, and who knows what happens next? Well, maybe this time the showrunners know what happens and make a new ending that we all gonna love. Or let's say not hate, at least. Who am I kidding? This is not a crazy theory, it's a great theory. That's it for today. We hope you liked this video. Yes, you. I'm talking about you. Exactly, you. Leave a comment if you want to see some theories about House of the Dragon and the Song of Ice and Fire universe. We promise to make more.